Hey!
This is JJ and Alex.
I made a name for myself, I told you I won't be denied.
As you wrap up your day, it's time to get your fix of the teams you live for and the sports you love. This is JJ and Alex, presented by G2G Bars on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Okay, everybody, welcome on in. JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Thanks for being with us today, everybody. Alex, Kirry, Jeremiah, Jensen. JJ, you look good, man.
I'm dressed to impress.
Yes, you are. You lost some weight over the last 18 months, or?
SLCfatloss.com.
.com.
No, yeah, I got TV today, so in the shirt.
I'll be like, I got TV today, so I've starved myself.
Yeah, I work in TV news, so I don't eat.
I work in TV news, and
all the stereotypes are true.
I haven't eaten anything since last Tuesday. Thank you. JJ, yes, we've got lots going on in the program today.
Had a glass of water. I'm stuffed.
You know what? I envy those people who are good at that kind of thing. You and I have battled other demons.
There's a reason why.
Yeah. That's all good.
We have a weight loss endorsement because we've had to lose weight.
I'm telling you, and you know me. Look, I've got my fruit punch zero going on in the
gotta
studio.
Go zero.
Gotta get the zero.
Don't drink your calories, folks.
I'll tell you too, though. Since doing all this stuff, you tell me, and maybe it's in my old age or something. I'm in my mid-40s now, officially. Like I'm into the mid-40s. Okay.
Yeah.
And I just don't do soda anymore. I wish I did, because it brought me a certain amount of joy, but I just don't do soda anymore.
I do it a lot, but only diet. I do not drink any sugar, anything.
I know. No, you want to waste. Look, if I'm gonna,
I am a diet soda guy.
If I'm gonna get into calories, I'm not gonna do it with drinking something.
Heck
you know what I mean? Come on, get me going here. We've got lots going on in the program. Thanks for hanging out with us today on the show. Yes, it's true. We are doing another radio program right now. That's what we do. We do this every day. Oh, man. The Honey Badger, top 10, by the way, nicknames of all time. And he walked away from football today, officially retiring. But he also walked away from the Honey Badger nickname. Remember that whole thing? He's like, I don't really want to be known as the Honey Badger anymore. I'm like, that's the coolest freaking nickname ever.
It is.
And so
why would you not want to be?
He's like, that was a different guy. I'm like, no. The position you play.
It's not like you murdered people when you were the Honey Badger.
Maybe you wanted to get away from it.
You really have that dark of a past as the Honey Badger?
It was always kind of funny.
Like you're a superhero, and then you had to walk away from it later on.
It's always interesting this time of year because walking up to training camp, you find out who the guys are who are going to retire. Yeah. And then you have the guys like Phillip Rivers who retired a long time ago but want to like retire again. Just so
That's
for the sake of the
stroke. I'm sorry.
For the sake of the cameras.
Really?
It's like Phillip Rivers and Make-A-Wish. Those are the people who get a one-day contract to be able to come back and like, come on. I don't want to let the kids have it. You don't need it, Phillip Rivers. We know what you're retiring as. Did he go and play for somebody else at the very end of his career?
He did.
Who was it?
The Colts, remember?
Yeah, they sucked.
You totally forgot about his year with the Colts.
It's because no one pictures him as a freaking. Is it because the NFL, maybe the Hall of Fame or whomever? Do they come knocking, by the way, for Phillip Rivers? He's got good numbers.
I think Phillip Rivers is a Hall of Famer. Maybe not first ballot, but he would be a Hall of Famer.
So then you have to say that Matt Ryan's a Hall of Famer, then, right?
You might be based on the numbers.
Especially if you're going to put Phillip Rivers.
But that's a tough one.
It is a tough one because
Matt Ryan's top 10 all time in passing yards.
And at least he went to a Super Bowl, right?
At least.
Phillip Rivers didn't even sniff it.
Never did.
So, anyway, where have we gotten? We're already getting down the road.
I love tangents.
Well, I mean, it's a sports show. It's not technically a tangent. We'll get back to
That's
it on
fair.
some of the
talking about the Epstein files would be a tangent.
No. Our Bucky's rant yesterday was technically a tangent, but it wasn't on the air.
That happened during a break.
It did. So, all right. We got lots going on in the program today. Thanks for being with us. We got to kick the show off as we always do. G2G Bars, all natural ingredients and no preservatives make the G2G Bar the perfect protein bar. We love the G2G Bar. Give it a shot today. Costco, Holiday Oil, Maverick, Associated Foods, and many other places in the refrigerated section. Let's kick off the hour with the cut. Let's jump in right here.
It's time for the biggest story of the day. This is what made the cut with JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Trajan Wealth brings you this portion of the program. TRAJAN Wealth.com for all of your trusted local needs. In retirement, Trajan Wealth, they're going to help you out and guide you to that retirement that you've always needed. Okay, JJ, let me ask you this. If you were to value college football franchises, because that's what they're turning into, right? College football programs.
Is that where we're at now?
That's where we're at now. And
this is pro football.
It really is. And I will tell you, even though these programs don't necessarily have the same – listen, there's no point in valuing them. You don't need to do a valuation, right? You're not selling the team per se. There's not an owner of the team.
Not yet. Private equity would like to get involved.
Yes, they would. And that's an interesting thought because schools might actually love just divorcing themselves totally from it and then taking some fees from those teams to let them play on their property, let them play at their stadium, whatever. Let them wear their licensed gear like, hey, you're our player from our university. Wow. And he's like, yeah. It's like the other day they were asking, did you see they asked, who's the gal who plays for the Liberty?
Sabrina Ionescu?
Ionescu. They asked her about the Statue of Liberty. It's so embarrassing. Did you guys see this? It's like when they asked the players, find where Denver is on the map since you've just gotten drafted to there. And they were like, oh, shoot. And they're like putting it on Montana. And they don't know where they're at. Geez. They're just going. Sabrina Ionescu was asked about how tall. Have you seen the Statue of Liberty? Or have you gone to visit the Statue of Liberty? No, I have not. I actually haven't seen it at all. Like, I don't really live close to there. And no, I've never visited it. How tall do you think it is? 80 feet. Or 8 feet or something like that. She thought it was like a miniature, all right? She thought it was the Vegas one was
like
the one in her head.
Academy Award. It's like the Oscar.
When they told her how big it was, she was like, oh, I got to get out there and check it out. They were like, you play for the New York Liberty? You don't know how tall Lady Liberty is? That's what we're going to have with the football players going forward is, yeah, I love, reads the front of his jersey, BYU, man. What a great school.
Yeah, until the team that pays me a raise
right.
next year.
I've told you, I've always loved, looks down at the jersey again, the Indiana, is it Hoosier? How do you say that? And they're like, you're a Hoosier now. Oh, okay.
Proud to be a Hoosier.
Proud to be a Hoosier. I'm telling you, this is where we're getting. And part of it is that they can value these teams now, or at least they guess on the value of them.
The coaches have been doing that for years now.
Guessing the value of it?
No, popping up at different places every year.
For sure. And
I love this place. We're going to build this.
How about this, though? Okay. The Athletic has a valuation of college football programs, not athletic departments, not athletics, not basketball and football, not any of those things, just football. Okay, they ranked all of these by the value, and I'm gonna go top 15 for you. Okay, now you could guess all of these, and you might even guess them in this exact order, but let's start at 15. Texas A&M is $973 million of evaluation, so almost $1 billion. Okay, Oregon $990 million. I'm actually shocked that they're only 14th on the list. I'm shocked that they're sub $1 billion on evaluation. Auburn $1.06 billion. Florida $1.08 billion. Penn State $1.2 billion. Now I don't know if you're following along. I think getting into Penn State now, we have firmly gotten ourselves into blue blood territory, right?
100%.
Penn State, $1.2 billion. LSU, while not considered a blue blood, kind of a modern blue blood, right? Okay, $1.23 billion. And if you're wondering if they're blue bloods or not now, just go off of the money, and then you'll be able to determine.
Yeah, exactly.
Because guess what? Guess who's not a blue blood anymore? At least hasn't felt like it for a long time? Nebraska.
Right.
And which is a sad thing because you and I grew up with those guys. They are
my
blue,
gosh, they were a juggernaut.
Blue blood.
Won 3 straight national championships.
And they are not anywhere near the valuation on this list. They're not even anywhere near where the top of the tops are. Okay? Tennessee, $1.37 billion. Like I said, USC, $1.4 billion. Not a shock. Not a shock because, again, in USC's case, they're more of a factory of brand anyway than they are an actual good football team. Oklahoma, $1.49 billion. By the way, we've gotten into Major League Baseball franchise territory. We've gotten into NHL franchise territory on valuations on some of these teams. Oklahoma, $1.49 billion. Alabama, coming in at 6th. I'm shocked that they're only 6th. $1.74 billion. Michigan, $1.83 billion. think about the teams that I haven't mentioned yet, if you're listening out there. Notre Dame, $1.85 billion. Ohio State, $1.9 billion. Georgia, $1.92 billion. And the only team valued over the $2 billion mark, Texas, $2.38 billion. This is why you pay the players, because now look where we're at. The amount of not just money generated by these programs, and again, if you are thinking that this is, growing up, I was fooled into thinking that the football teams and the schools that were associated with them and the term student athlete, we fooled ourselves for so long thinking that those were such an important thing. And what's unfortunate, there are a lot of kids out there who are insane athletes, but also phenomenal students. And they're taking advantage of the fact that they're getting their school paid for. Great. But don't mix up what the importance of what these football programs are. It's not putting kids through college. God bless the U, and Utah makes an absolute they make it an important part of what that situation is. And when guys come in here, and we even hear Prime go, Team GPA was 1.8 when I came in. Now it's 3.1. Great. They put some emphasis on the education part. But when you hear these numbers, JJ, I don't even know what to think now, because these don't even feel like these aren't just numbers now. They have become valuations of college football programs, and that shows you how big of a deal it is across all the sports. If we were to really look at some of the valuations, NHL valuations, for example, if you're wondering, the most expensive valuation out there for a team is $3.6 billion, the Toronto Maple Leafs, who are the New York Yankees of hockey, right?
Yeah.
It only takes you to get down to 8th, to have the Philadelphia Flyers, who are valued at $2.29 billion. That's where Texas would be on the value, the number 8 most valuable professional hockey franchise. That is where we're at here. And if you're wondering, now this might be an old number, because what did Ryan Smith and Ashley Smith pay for the hockey club? $1.2 billion. Mm-hmm. And I think that everybody looked at it right now, and it's already, if you are,
I think it's already been.
It's got to be above $2 billion.
Valuation is around $2 billion.
Yeah, so I think that these numbers are always on the rise. And by the way, if the Cowboys decided to sell today, they'd probably sell for $15 billion or more, because of how insane that team is in terms of not just profitability, but the brand and what it entails.
Let me give more depth on what you're talking about, and just how expensive and how rich these programs are. I guess is the best way to describe it, right? The Texas Longhorns, top $2.38 billion. Okay.
Yep.
That's how much the Carolina Panthers sold for in 2018.
The Panthers? That's an NFL team.
The Carolina Panthers.
Wow.
Okay. According to CNBC's 2025 MLB team valuations, several MLB teams are valued lower than Texas at $2.38 billion.
Including the Astros. No. Including the my Mariners, according to this number, at $2.2 billion. And by the way, that would put Texas in the top 12 for valuations in Major League Baseball. That's what's crazy to me. This is where we've gotten. So, again, if you're wondering if these players are playing for these teams.
Wow. So, only 9 teams in Major League Baseball are worth more than the Texas Longhorns football program.
Crazy.
That includes the Texas Rangers.
But listen to what's bonkers.
That's insane.
Is that the Miami Marlins are valued the least valuable franchise in baseball, okay? And they're approaching, like Oregon football would almost be at that level. Ranked 14th in college football for their valuation as a program. They would be right there with the Miami Marlins. That's what we're talking about. So when you wonder about how big of a deal this is, what's really crazy, JJ, is we've just thrown those values out there, and again, these values are a little bit nebulous because they're just out there. It's not really.
You don't sell these programs, right. So it's hard to know.
And when they do sell them, then that's the value, right? As soon as they sell them, that's the value.
It's like anything. You're worth how much someone's willing to pay for it.
And what have we known? Everyone always overpays for sports franchises, so we're probably looking at a number
They
that's
always
gonna
get
be
their
bigger.
money on return
Right.
and investment because the equity in that team after a year or two goes so much far up.
Okay, you notice that I didn't say one Big 12 program.
No.
There is a disparity there. So when you look at these programs, the only team that is not in the ACC or in the SEC or in the Big Ten, who is it?
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame, which of course they would have a value.
Thanks
like
to
they do.
NBC and everything they have
And that's
with that deal.
That's a brand juggernaut that's been huge forever,
They're
right?
definitely in the same mix financially as the Big Ten and the SEC schools.
Okay. You ready for the Big 12 schools?
Yeah.
Utah is valued at the most valuable football program, according to this list,
Wow.
at $539 million. Now, it's great to be number one in the Big 12, and that shows you the power of Utah's brand and what they've built as a football program. Kyle Whittingham has personally put that stamp and put Utah where they are right there, right? And all the phenomenal players that have gotten there. And the two undefeated seasons, obviously in 04 and 08, got them on that track. Utah, the most valuable Big 12 franchise. Then TCU, then Texas Tech. TCU is $223 million. I would not have pegged TCU for being the most valuable after Utah. Texas Tech at $440 million. Oklahoma State at $373 million. Arizona State at $372 million. BYU rings in just north of $300 million. So well behind, a $200+ million deficit behind Utah. Now, again, concrete numbers-wise, this is not what that is. Because I think if you were to ask anybody who's listening to this who's yelling at their radio about, oh, sure, the Utah gets the love from KSL Sports again. The reality
We're
is,
just dealing with numbers here, bro.
the reality is, I think BYU and Utah, and not just combined, but I think BYU and Utah right now are the most valuable franchises in this conference.
You just call them franchises. It's true, though.
Isn't that? I mean, that's what it feels like. Well, I mean, that's what they're
absolutely
comparing it
what
to.
this feels like.
These two programs are the most valuable programs in the conference because BYU might be looked at as the football programs being quote unquote valued at this number.
Wow.
Their stadium seats almost. I mean, seats. What is LaVell? 64,000, right?
Yes.
65ish if you really pack them in. Between 62 and 64,000 when they're sold out. And with that comes the insane amount of energy that BYU fans surround this program with. The amount of money that's been infused with the program of late has to make it to where this number is probably a little bit higher. But Utah gets
or
a
maybe that's
massive
not
hump.
accounted for, and it's just kind of outside of what they do account when it comes to evaluating these franchises, which is something you also have to note. I mean, Texas Tech's at $440 million. Then I got this $1 billion donor on the side here that's throwing NIL money their way. That's not necessarily part of the valuation, right? So same kind of deal with BYU. While they have that $306 million valuation here, you also have to consider there's a lot of financial support outside of that valuation.
I do wonder, though, when you see what these teams are, quote unquote, valued at, and what direction does that go? Where's the ceiling on this? And if you are a private equity company, you would probably, even if you're buying just a portion of what these teams would be, it would be a huge return. Now, we know that private equity getting a hold of companies sometimes doesn't necessarily equal the the payoff.
We've all seen what some private equity firms can do to a company. Not great.
We're going to have to let all your cornerbacks go. We don't feel like that's a position that works out anymore.
Yeah, we see these linebackers. I don't know. Why don't they catch the ball more? Yeah.
It's pretty funny to watch.
I'm not sure we need those here.
No, and I don't think – and here's the other thing is I don't
You
think –
seem like you have too many coaches. We're going to have to downsize that.
Yeah, and I just wonder if there's going
many
to
people
be –
on the sideline.
I wonder if there's going to be a moment for these programs when they start to turn that corner that you look at it and you go, okay, what have they done that is going to make them more valuable? Like, what makes a team the most valuable? Is it winning the national championships? Alabama, obviously, Tuscaloosa, Alabama, being on the map like that puts them at 6, almost a $2 billion valuation. However, they're not anywhere near what the top is, and they're basically right there with USC. So what matters most, brand or winning? And winning obviously affects your brand, but ask USC, you could just be in LA and it would be
yeah, but it's not that simple because UCLA is there too. USC has won in the past. USC does have the accolades. USC does have the Heisman Trophy winners. USC does have the national championships, plural.
Yes.
So you talk about what comes first, the winning or the brand? It's the winning. Because the brand is not become a brand until you win. Every single team we talk about here, even like Texas Tech isn't quite that brand, even though they've got this $1 billion donor and they're making this big splash. They got to do some stuff first before we put them in the class of the other Blue Bloods we talk about all the time. And the Blue Bloods, like Nebraska still gets clout as a Blue Blood. They haven't done anything in 2 decades. But because of what that program has meant to college football, how many Heisman Trophy winners they have, national champions, Allen Trophy winners, all that stuff, you can't take that away. So you got to earn it first on the field by winning, and that establishes your brand.
We'll take a break. We'll come back. Those tickets, again, you can find them UtahDaysOf47rodeo.com. We'll come right back. We've got more to go around the corner. Tim Buckley, yes, that name sounds familiar because he used to be a beat writer to cover the Utah Jazz. Guess what? He's moved to Memphis, and he's covering Memphis athletics. We're going to ask him about this whole situation where the Tigers tried to buy their way into the Big 12. Stay right here. More to go. 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
Accessing.
When TV and radio collide.
Love it.
Wow. This is what you get. You're listening to JJ and Alex. Presented by G2G Bars.
Don't touch that dial.
On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back. It's another edition of JJ and Alex, 97.5 EKSL Sports Zone. Alex, Kirry, Jeremiah Jensen joining us right now on the program. This is an interesting one. I did not picture myself having an interview this week with somebody from Memphis talking Memphis athletics, and yet here we are. Tim Buckley, he writes for the Daily Memphian and covers the Memphis Tigers athletics. And so, Tim, thanks for being with us, man.
And I did not expect to be talking to anybody in Salt Lake, where I spent, I think it was 11 of the best years of my life.
Oh, really? Look at you.
Oh,
See,
yeah.
it all comes full circle, Tim. So here we are.
Covered the Jazz for the Deseret News for more than a decade.
Tim, now the name rings. Now the name rings, and it makes sense now. I was like, this sounds very familiar. Oh, very good.
There you go.
Well, we'll ask you about the Jazz prospects later. I'm sure it's equally it's probably easy to forget those right now, considering how things are. But yeah, let's jump in a little bit, Tim, to what's happened over the past 24, 36 hours. Number one, this is a crazy deal because it's just something we've never seen before. What's the reaction been like by, I guess, Tiger faithful and how this thing went down? And what was the actual deal that was put together as far as you know?
Well, I think the reaction was kind of a collective groan, like, again, they don't want us from the Memphis faithful because this is not the first bid that the Tigers obviously have made to get into the Big 12. And they've been shunned before when, Houston made it out of the American Athletic Conference, or the American Conference as they now prefer to be called. And Cincinnati made it out, and Central Florida made it out. And Memphis just kept getting rebuffed. And they ended up putting together this time what amounts to, in the mind, I think, the minds, plural of many here, a desperation bid. And the numbers, there's different numbers that have been thrown around, more than $200 million, $250 million-ish in various forms and whatnot. But a bundle of money, foregoing TV income for 5 years, which obviously is a huge chunk of change.
Right. And
basically if you want to dump me as your girlfriend, you're free to go ahead and do so clause, which is, I think, viewed by at least some here as really weird. But you have to commend Memphis's athletic administration and Ed Scott, well, he's at the end of his first year now, early into his second, athletic director, for, thinking of anything and everything it can to make a plea and try to get them where they desperately want to be, which is partly the Big 12, primarily to a power conference. They're not picky, and also primarily out of the American Conference.
So when this thing went down, and like you said, there's this idea, and they put out the statement today that said, hey, we're going to come out stronger from this thing, which is like, the typical, you say the same thing when you do break up with somebody, right? I mean, that's, or somebody rejects you on a date. So when this went down and there's 200 or 250 million, I've seen two different numbers there. How exactly was that going to work? Was that like hey, we can bring you this on an annual basis in sponsorships? Obviously, people have to get creative when they try to get to a number. And listen, Brett Yormark, the commissioner of the Big 12, even though he's not the only guy to convince, he's a money guy. And so obviously making that kind of a pitch, it was unprecedented in the sense that we don't see people trying to buy their way into a power conference.
Well, to be frank with you, and the joyous part of my life that involves no longer being a beat writer and more being a columnist and a takeout guy and whatnot, I don't have to deal with minutia anymore, which is a very beautiful thing. Compounding that with the fact that I was actually driving home from Nashville after covering a Tigers on tour event in the Nashville area over the weekend. I wasn't the one, frankly, doing all the reporting on the details of it, but, to me, 200,000, 200,000, or I'm sorry, 200 million, 250 million is 250 million, whether it's, you pull it out from your couch cushions or from underneath your mattress. It's a big sum of money.
Yep.
So how specifically it works, people way smarter than me figure that out.
When you kind of see how this thing goes down, obviously the basketball piece and Penny Hardaway and his program, that's a big basketball program. How much of that were they kind of leaning on that to maybe look in that direction? And then what are the things that make it to where it's not a good fit market-wise for the Big 12?
Well, in the minds of many, Memphis is a basketball school first and foremost. 72-73 team went to the Final Four and lost in the championship game to John Wooden and Bill Walton and that whole crew. Their 84-85 team made it to the Final Four. The William Bedford, Andre Turner-led team with Keith Lee on it, and long basketball history here, and that's what they are. And yes, that's a big part of what they pitch as their appeal. I mean, they love being in a conference, playing regularly with Kansas and, some other powerful basketball programs that the American just doesn't have to offer. So, yeah, that's a big part of it. What doesn't work for Memphis, look, you'd have to lay down on a couch and give the people of Memphis about 3 years to get it all off their chests as to why they're not loved.
Right.
But, some perceive that it has to do with crime factors, socioeconomic factors that Memphis deals with. Some, it has to do with the not as much corporate support, although they have pretty darn good corporate support, led by, among others, FedEx and AutoZone. But that's a piece of the puzzle. It's a good-sized market, but it's not a huge market. TV market share, they're in the give or take high 40s, low 50s range. So not all that different from some of the teams that are in the league. They don't understand a lot of why they're not there. Look, they've got and granted, it's coming out of a group of 5 conference, but they've got 11 straight bowl bids. They've got a pretty good NCAA tournament history as far as basketball goes. They play in an NBA arena. They have a big-name basketball coach. They have a football coach who's heading into his 6th season, so there's some stability there. They beat West Virginia in their last bowl game, so granted it's bowl games and you're playing some third stringers and whatnot, but they've shown capable of playing against the big boys. They played in the Liberty Bowl not long ago and they beat Iowa State. So, again, the history there against power conference teams. People here are confused as to why the love's not there.
Tim Buckley, Daily Memphian, joining us here on JJ and Alex as we try to break down what this thing looks like. Now what's the next move? Is it just kind of sit and kind of take what the recent deal gave you? Obviously, there's nothing else you can do besides from that if you're Memphis, but what's their next move? Is there another possibility of looking around and trying to figure a way to get out into an ACC situation? Do they monitor that when you watch other teams who want to leave the ACC and you go, hey, we're ready to join that conference, like, how aggressive will the athletic director and the president of the university get?
Oh, I think they'll get very aggressive. The athletic director, and I don't have the exact number at my fingertips, but he's got a nice bonus clause if they get into a power conference, so he's not going to sit on his hands. Some people immediately said, well, why not take that same lousy offer and present it to the ACC and see if they'll bite? And they have been in discussions with the ACC before, although never really managed to gain any traction with that. But their AD came directly to Memphis from Virginia, so he's got some ties back there where he was an associate AD. The Pac-12 made a bid, or the new look Pac-12, I should say, made a bid to take them roughly around this time last year, maybe a little later in the year in 2024, and Memphis rebuffed that pretty much out of hand because of the uncertainty of their TV deal at the time and not knowing what that whole thing was going to look like. Their name occasionally pops up again in relation to the Pac-12. Is there the possibility that they go to the Pac-12 as a football-only member, place their basketball team in a higher profile basketball-centric conference, and then do something that makes geographic sense, which not many conferences these days do, for their Olympic sports or non-revenue sports or minor sports or not football, basketball sports, whatever you want to call them. Or do they just sit and wait for, the next crazy carousel spin? And obviously things aren't going to get done, and there's probably going to be another breakaway at some point. Their best bet is to position themselves, whether it's continuing to be one of the top group of 5 programs or whether it's getting into a power conference like the Big 12, to be there for what probably will not be the highest echelon group in separation, whether, that's the SEC and the Big Ten schools and some combination of a few others. But they want to be in that middle tier. They want to be not in the left out tier.
Right.
And, they're doing everything they can to position themselves. But as we all know, it takes 2 to tango.
Tim Buckley, Daily Memphian, is where you can see his byline. We appreciate you taking some extra time here as we try to figure out. We looked at the money part, and we just assumed that maybe the Big 12 would take a roll of the dice, at least to look at it. But no cigar so far for the folks at Memphis. But we're looking forward to this, how the rest of this thing plays out, how the G5 future plays out for every school who are in these conferences who are trying to just survive at some point in such a crazy landscape of college athletics. Tim, thanks for joining us today, man. We appreciate it.
You got it.
All right, Tim Buckley, former Deseret News and Jazz beat writer. Can you believe that? That's pretty wild. That's a good connection. All right, we'll take the break here. More to go. 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
Listen, everybody. Real-life hypotheticals to get your brain churning. As JJ and Alex ask, would you rather?
Welcome back, everybody. JJ and Alex, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. Got a quick would you rather for you. Before that, though, every Wednesday is a Win Ticket Wednesday right here on the program. Tomorrow, we're giving away tickets. Where are we going to give those tickets away to? Jason Aldean and the Full Throttle Tour coming July 26th to the Utah First Credit Union Amphitheater. Tickets now at liveNation.com, or you can just listen all day tomorrow and get those tickets for a chance to win. JJ, I was at the gas station today, and I saw a flavor of Mountain Dew I'd never seen before. And I was like, oh, whoa. And I thought, you know what? This sounds like a fake flavor. And then I thought to myself, I think Mountain Dew has tried a lot of flavors. And I thought, you know what? I bet JJ doesn't know what a real flavor is from a fake flavor. So our Would You Rather is going to be a different edition today. And that is, I'm going to give you a flavor of Mountain Dew. You have to tell me if it is a real Mountain Dew flavor or not.
Okay.
You ready for this?
Yeah,
we'll
let's
start
go.
off easy. Baja Blast.
Oh, yeah.
Baja Blast Cabo. It's a real flavor also. Voltage.
I've heard of Voltage.
We know Voltage.
Yes.
We've got teenagers.
Yeah.
Code Red.
Oh, yes.
Live Wire.
Is that real? Yes.
It's the orange flavor.
Okay.
Fun fact, when KSL was trying to figure out what to name the Nightside Project back in the day, they wanted to call it Live Wire, and I was like, that's
really?
stupid. But
I'm glad you corrected
yeah,
me
it
on
didn't
that.
go through.
Because
All right.
where would we be without
Those are the
Nightside?
ones you already know.
Okay.
All right? Now we're going to get into some
Now the real test
we're going to get into the
begins.
weeds here.
Okay.
Mountain Dew, Black Sabbath, Black Cherry.
That's kind of believable. Sounds like something Ozzy would get into.
Oh, may he rest, by the way.
What?
You didn't know Ozzy died today? Oh my gosh, are we hit the breaking news sounder right here. This is awkward. It's like I didn't know I was going to be the guy to tell you this.
Wow.
But yeah, hit the breaking news sounder.
Yeah, that's
Ozzy Osbourne.
That's true.
Dead at the age of 76. I saw some reports at 79, but 76. File it under the names of guys who shouldn't have lived that long. But
The Godfather of heavy metal.
so Mountain Dew, Black Sabbath, Black Cherry. Yeah, man.
Wow.
Boy, that was weird. I'm usually not the one to break pop culture news to JJ. I feel pretty good. Hey, Ozzy's dead. Sorry.
Now I know.
Sharon! Let me see here. Mountain Dew, anything for love.
We're just going to gloss over Ozzy dying like that?
No, we got all this music. We're going to get back to it.
Goodness.
No, this is a Would You Rather. I'm trying to get to the fake Mountain
We're
Dew
running out of
flavors.
time.
and real
Okay,
Mountain Dew
move
flavors.
on. We're out of time.
Mountain Dew, anything for love.
No.
Fake.
Thank
Although
you.
it would be a really good. Come on.
Was that a Led Zeppelin flavor?
This is a
Since they had an Ozzy one?
It would have been a meatloaf. Do anything for love.
Meatloaf,
Yeah,
okay.
Not meatloaf flavored, but
That would be gross.
Cake Smash, birthday cake flavored.
No
Mountain
way.
Dew.
There's no way.
Real.
What?
Real Mountain Dew
Cake
flavor.
Smash?
Yeah. Mountain Dew 4th of July.
No.
Fake flavor.
You made that up.
Mountain Dew Liberty Chill.
No.
Mountain Dew Liberty Chill real.
What?
By the way, 4th of July, you owe me something, Mountain Dew,
4th
because
of July?
4th of July should be the name
You
of
just
it.
made that up.
I know. Liberty Chill is real though, but 4th of July fake. Mountain Dew Summer Freeze with 3 E's.
Yes.
Real. Mountain Dew Lemon Ice Baby.
No way.
Fake. But again, you're welcome. Mountain Dew Bermuda Triangle Berry.
No.
Fake.
Yeah.
Mountain Dew Supernova.
Supernova sounds real.
Supernova is real. There you go.
I did pretty well for
Get
that.
your caffeine hit. I know. I'm actually pretty proud of myself that I'm sad that you didn't know that. Boy, I broke the news on a fake Mountain Dew flavor to JJ that Ozzy's no longer with us. Now he's Googling. He's got a tear coming down the cheek. Sorry, bro.
Dang.
I know.
How did
Weird.
I not? I mean, I don't. I've had a day. Let me just say
yes,
that.
you have.
So
yes, you have.
But not
quite
to
a
get into it, but I was late on the Aussie news, so thank you for passing that along.
You bet. Can't wait to
How
dive
are we
into
not
it more.
playing Black Sabbath? all
We
day?
are. We're going to.
Okay.
Come
okay,
on, man.
Okay.
All right. We'll take a break here. We'll come back. We've got more around the corner. 97.5 EKSL Sports Zone.